If you need any My Team grinds in any mode, hit up my boy Witty for safe, reliable, and the cheapest grinding services around. Hit him up on Twitter. You won't be disappointed. Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the best cards that you can buy at each position for under 100,000 MT here in NBA 2K25 My Team. These are what I would call the best buyout cards in My Team. Still pretty budget cards, in all honesty. Everybody under 100K, I think, is a relative budget card to a certain extent, and there's good cards at every single position for under 100K at this point in the game. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. First and foremost, I just think some of the older cards are really good. For example, Zach LaVine, who's 50 something K. If you could get, there are Zach LaVines floating around with a bunch of extra Hall of Fame badges too. If you could find one of those for under 100K, that'd be especially a really good deal. But he's just really good slasher, money jump shot. He's the card. I mean, Ty Debo's using his backup point guard the last couple weeks to win King of the Court. Like, definitely a really good card with a lot to like about him. I think LaVine would be a really nice option for sure. Another really solid option who came out at the end of season 2 is Pink Diamond Cade Cunningham. Again, going for 50 something thousand MT. Also very possible to find with a bunch of extra badges. If you can get him with a bunch of extra added defensive badges and things like that, he's very similar to his Opal. He's still a very good card. Dyson Daniels, same story, a lot cheaper, but again, there are ones floating around with a bunch of extra badges. You get one of those, he's really nice because he's 6'7", great defender, smooth jump shot, all that type of stuff under the card that I like a lot. I will also shout out real quickly the Pink Diamond Kobe White that has a dynamic duo with Larry Markkinen. He's still pretty affordable. He's still a really good card. Obviously, he's even better when you have the duo with Markkinen, but the problem with Markkinen is he's over 200,000 MT at this point. So extremely expensive card there. So that takes away from the value of the duo at least a little bit. But I do think Kobe as a card by himself is a very good card as well, and another really solid option at the point guard position for less than 100,000 MT. The shooting guard position is where you start to get some really good opals, because the honest truth is the point guard position just doesn't really have any good opals for under 100,000 MT. Like these, I mean, D'Lo's okay, but in general, all these cards kind of stink. The shooting guard position has a bunch of good pink diamonds, but the thing about the shooting guard position is also has a couple of really good opals. For example, Drazen Petrovic, elite level card, going for 60-ish thousand MT. 6'5", he's very similar to Brandon Roy. Same base as Brandon Roy, elite level upper with Oscar Robertson's upper. 90 driving dunk, solid versatile defender, 94 speed, 94 agility, 86 vert, 86 strength. In all honesty, he's got one of the best jumpers in the game. He's legitimately a very good slasher, half poster, 90 driving dunk, and he's got good defense like on-ball menace, a movable enforcer, glove, pick dodger, off-ball pass challenger, and really good stats. Like, I know he's only 6'5", but he is a high level card, and absolutely, in my opinion, is one of the best cards you can get at this position for this type of price point. Realistically, outside of that, in terms of opals, the other opal who's really good at shooting guard is this OG Anunoby, 6'7", 93 ball, 95 driving dunk, money jump shot, 90 block, 85 interior, 95 perimeter, 94 steal, 93 speed, 96 agility, 94 vert, 88 strength. I mean, the card is pretty loaded. 34 total base badges include a bunch of defense, good shooting badges. A lot to like about this card as a whole. He's extremely complete. Even his movement is pretty good. He and Drazen are pretty easily the two best cards that you can get at the shooting guard position for under 100,000 MT. In my personal opinion, I don't even think you need to talk about anymore, because like you have the free shooting guards as well, guys like B-Roy, Dr. J, or sorry, B-Roy, J Rich, even Franz Wagner, cards like that. And then obviously your Dr. J and stuff like that are the top tier cards. And we've talked about other cheaper budget shooting guards as well. But for me, for this price point, it's OG Anunoby and Drazen Petrovic. At the small forward position, not quite as souped in terms of elite level Galaxy Opals, but you do have a couple of options for sure who are still really good cards. Obviously, a lot of good pink diamonds we talked about in the past. I actually like this Sean Marion card. The fact he's under 100K is not a bad price for him. He's got great defense. His jumper's fast, even if it is kind of ugly. I think he's a pretty good card. Realistically, most of these guys I would kind of recommend staying away from. I don't love these cards at small forward position. I do think you could still run OG at small forward, even though he's only 6'7". He can get the job done there. But realistically, I mean, I think you're mostly looking for pink diamonds at the small forward position right now. Michael Beasley's too expensive for 100K. So is Rudy Gay. So your next up is like a guy like Julius Randle, for example, under 100K. He's got a dynamic duo with with D-Lo, and honestly, even as an Opal, he's very complete stat and badge-wise, great slasher, good defender, well-rounded stat and badge-wise across the board, 38 total base badges. Honestly, the jumper's pretty good. The movement isn't atrocious. He's not a bad card by any means. The small forward position, that J-Dub's okay, but he's just undersized realistically is the biggest issue with J-Dub. The biggest thing about the small forward position is that most of like the top tier small forwards who are budget type cards are not really that budget. For example, Rudy Gay, who's going for what, 200-ish thousand MT. Same thing with a guy like Michael Beasley. They're just a bit too expensive to be on this list, but those are the types of guys that I personally be looking for. Same thing with a guy like Markkinen, for example. So you're a little bit limited in terms of the small forwards that are really good for budget. There is a guy like this Rui Hachimura, really good card, 6'8", has 38 total base badges. He's super solid. Still Diamond Paulo's still really good as well if you can get him with a bunch of extra badges. Cards like that are going to be your other options at the small forward position realistically. Power forward position, you do have a couple of good Opal options at the power forward spot. First and foremost, I do think, honestly, flat power forward and center, the top cards are kind of the same. And so I will mention them for both power forward and center, honestly. And that is Vlade Divac and Rudy Gobert. Those are your top two buyout bigs right now, in my opinion, that can really compete at power forward or center. Vlade's 7'1", really nice jump shot, versatile, solid slasher, good defender, good rebounder, solid speed, not great, but not bad. He's got a really nice release. He's a good stretch 5 and can play the 4 as well with that size. I think he's really solid. Definitely a card that I would definitely not be opposed to at all for his price tag. I think he's a beast. Another guy who I think is really good at power forward, again, like I said, is Rudy Gobert. I mean, power forward or center. I'm playing at power forward right now because I'm playing off the bench next to D-Rob, but again, extremely good and honestly pretty affordable. He's even cheaper than Vlade is, going for less than 80,000 MT. And again, look, he's only got a 6'7" ball. I get that. He is a dominant finisher. He is an elite defender, amazing rebounder, and he gets really good animations at 7'1". Yes, he's still not extremely fast, only 86 speed, but in my opinion, he's like a slightly better version of a guy like Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, both of whom I don't believe are buyouts right now. So a very nice value for him. He's super versatile defensively. I love that card. I think he's extremely high level. And then again, your less expensive cards that I'm still going to shout out are going to be guys like Alex Sarr and Triple J, Jared Jackson Jr., his diamond, if you can get like a badged up diamond. Those are also very, very solid cards that you can look to target in these types of drops for the power forward position. I mean, Sarr is really complete stat and bad advice, has a smooth jump shot, decent speed, like overall just pretty well-rounded card. Another guy who's going to give you a lot of overall value. And yeah, that is pretty much that, because realistically, here's the honest truth. The center position is the exact same. Center position is Rudy Gobert and Vlade Divac are your two best buyable options. And then your next best options for under 100K are going to be guys with size, guys like a Zach Edey, for example, who, and Sarr obviously as well, but Zach Edey, 7'5", gives you the interior ability to compete against any center in the game, elite level rebounder, and has a very nice jump shot too, but he's only 60 speed. That's his biggest flaw. Sarr is still really good. Again, 7'footer, 7'1", has the smooth jump shot, has enough defense, like solid card as well. Those are going to be your main cards at the center position as well. That's the thing, is that the power forward and center position kind of overlap in a lot of ways right now in terms of these best buyout cards. And again, you combine all this stuff with maybe an unsellable reward or two that you've gotten, a couple of actual reward cards like Austin Reeves and Brandon Roy and maybe D-Rob from previous seasons and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of versatility right now to lineup building, because I think there's a lot of good cards in the game. So I think that that's a pretty good thing for my team right now, but hopefully this video gives you a good picture of the guys that I'd be targeting for that under 100,000 MT mark. And I even mentioned a couple of guys who are a little bit over 100K that you could also consider as well. So with that being said, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.